What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36. And this is Big Games BS brought to you by Den Media Group inside the world's greatest cigar lounge, Goodfellas Cigar. Okay, just get some text. Goodfellas Cigar Lounge, the world's greatest cigar lounge, brought to you by thehumidor.com and ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Always be celebrating. I'm gonna go ahead and skip here. Here's a great, you know what? There's a great reason to celebrate every day, but today is a better reason to celebrate. So this is what I need y'all to do. It's Miles' birthday. So you have to tell Miles happy birthday in the comments. You got to share this for Miles. Miles needs money. Miles always needs money, but it's not because Miles is just like, he's not a beggar or anything. It's just that I don't know any, like my mom called on the last show we had. She said, hey, I thought you needed some money, which I'm like, I'm never going to turn. My mom can give, like, for example, I took my mom out for Mother's Day. So hopefully I haven't done a show. For those who don't know, my mother's is recovering now very well. I want to post a picture, but it's not a video of her walking, but it's not like the greatest picture. So I don't want to like put her in the nightgown looking rough and raggedy, even though it could be inspirational and shit. But like, fuck that. I don't want y'all cats rank on people's moms. I don't want y'all ranking on my mom's, and then I'm trying to dox you. But she was like, I'll give you some money for me to, like, if she would have gave me, let's say she would have sent me, like get some coffee or something. Let's say she sent me $20, right? I spent like over $100 fucking taking her to dinner that night. So like her giving me money isn't an even exchange. It's like you're giving me something. It's like, I feel like how my grandmother must have felt when I started like sending her cards with like $2 in it. Just like to show that I cared. She's just like, man, what the fuck I'm gonna do with this $2 after you gonna ask me for 50? So anyways, but Miles, if you send some, what is that mess called? You send a super chat, it goes to Miles. How about that? The super chat will go to Miles today. So like, if you want to bless Miles, that's the easiest way. I don't know, what's your cash app, Miles? MilesHumes. All right, money sign MilesHumes on Cash App. It should be him, but like, celebrate my dog's birthday. He does a really, really good job here and keeping track of everything, especially if you like reels. If you like the reels, that's all him. He's taking different clips. He has a great, unique ability to make things that I say sound way more controversial than what they are in that minute. I fucking hated me after one of them. Like, it was just, I'm like, man, who the fuck is this guy? And I'm like, oh, that's me. Like, did it really sound that bad? Then I went back and listened. I was like, okay, it wasn't that bad in the 10-minute context. But if you condense it into 1 minute, it really sounds like I hate people. That's always the argument. Like, you got to watch the whole show. Like, I need that. That's the whole thing. But anyway, so check that out. It's his birthday, so make sure you give him the hookup with that. But I've had, again, like I said, I was in Tallahassee. My mom had surgery on Monday. We had some things in the back where I had to go do some paperwork. I checked her. I had to go, like I said, I had to check out my mom for that. And then so that's why we didn't do a show. That's why we didn't do a show on Monday. I was at the hospital all day. One thing about hospitals and doctors is that them motherfuckers will have you there. We had to be there at 8:15 in the morning. I have no problems with that. Take kids to school. Normally at around 8:15, me and Miles are trying to figure out what time we're going to actually do the show. My mom didn't go back to surgery until like 12. Like, that's a long time. Like, doc, give me a heads up. Let me know so I can plan my day accordingly. I don't like that. I wasn't a fan of that. But like I said, she had a surgery. We went out to dinner. We did a bunch of other stuff. Also, during the process, we've had some changes at the lounge. Not gonna get into all of that stuff, but we had to. It was different. It was time for our people, like us, to make a change in leadership. But with that, that means the guys who actually are the principals have to fucking work now. I'm mad. I came off the road on Tuesday to go. I was supposed to record, but there was some stuff where I had to make sure the caseworker, because last time with my grandma, I needed to know if I was going to have to pull a John Q. And I warned the people who I know at the hospital first. And I was like, hey, man, listen, if y'all don't get my mama right, I'm going to go pull the strap out. And we're going to get her right. Ended up not being that bad, but I got on the road, picked the kid up from school, football practice, left football practice to go to his football practice, left that football practice to come here and work. And then like closing a lounge or a nightclub ain't for the faint of heart, and it ain't fun. It's fucking late. Like I'm tired. You're ready to go home. You have to make sure the count is right. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, shit, can y'all fucking hurry up the fucking count? And there's no way to really hurry up the count because they got to go through eat. If you did a good night, which we did decent, you get a lot of receipts. People, I'm not telling you to tip because I really don't care. Because what happens with the tips is they got to take that. We give our guys their tips that night. So when you do a credit card tip, it comes out of the cash. So like we won't see that. We won't see it. So like we literally have to add up. Like when you do the little cash tip, it's easy. They just I need to know how much, so I know how much we brought in. They split it in half, but then we gotta go do the receipts. But I say that to say it really makes shit go really, really slow. But it makes it go slower when you keep cashing out. If you know you're gonna have more than one fucking beverage, just open a tab. Don't keep closing your tab, bro. I'm not even telling you to tip each time. I'm just saying each time you close your tab, that's one extra fucking receipt that we have to count at the night. You are making me have the ability to go home. Like instead of being home at 12:30, you're making me go home at 1:30. Tuesday night's karaoke night, ladies' night. We're gonna have some good stuff there. Wednesday night, we're about to have a Latin night. Have a bunch of stuff coming, man. Please come check out Goodfellas. I'm telling you now, if you become a member at the all-in level, or even at the 30, if you become a member at the all-in level, that comes with a membership here to Goodfellas. And for perspective, a membership to Goodfellas is $100 a month. So you're getting a lot more than just $100 a month. So a whole bunch of other shit. Let me go back to look at this. But that was, basically I love being in Tallahassee. Tallahassee has rainstorms that make absolutely no sense. And it's you said what? That's actually my teammate. That's OJ's cousin, my boy Tally Juice. But we don't put that up there. For those who don't know, really good dude, teammate of mine, love him to death. Leroy Smith a couple weeks ago had a stroke. Terrifies the fuck out of me when I see teammates go through medical stuff because we're like the same age. He's a couple years older than me. We shouldn't be having strokes at 40-something years old, but he had a stroke. It was yesterday's broadcast, but for TMH, they have like a radio show or something like that. But Leroy was on there. He's in good spirits. He's recovering well. Listen, Leroy Smith, 41-year-old former Florida State Seminole NFL player, was headed to the gym on April 26th. His son noticed there was something wrong with him. He wasn't able to turn the car or get out of it. Leroy was in the process of having a stroke. They called 911. They got to the stroke center. It was treated in 61 minutes. The fast response time helped his recovery. So just the biggest thing is keep an eye on your, and this is what I guess I can learn even from my mom. Keep an eye on your loved ones, encourage them, and when you notice things aren't going right, make it happen. If you notice that I'm talking about like go Gators or something like that, just know that there's something wrong with me. And those are the signs of a stroke. So make sure you put that in. But I'm glad everybody's in. One of my goals is, and I like to follow a lot of people. I love being on Sporadics. Chris does a really, really good job of what he does with his podcast. If I don't watch them, I watch clips and I get inspired by the structure of interviews. One guy who I really like is doing a good job. I don't always like his takes. He's country and a motherfucker, but he was a phenomenal tight end, and that's Shannon Sharp. I like, and you're gonna hear me counteract one of his points, and it's a lot of older people points I counteract with one of these subjects. But Uncle Shay Shay is one of those guys. I love the energy. I love the not cigar, the Black and Mild and the Hennessy and even though it's ironic he doesn't really drink, but he made him hit a milestone and an accomplishment, and I would love nothing more than to do this. And when you get this many subscribers, you can make that much money to where you can. Now, one thing I don't like what Shay does, but I also learned Vlad TV does this as well, is that if you use their stuff, they're going to immediately like just bam you. Like you can't use their edits. And if they find out, like Vlad actually gets a strike on you if you use it without his permission. Or you can get $10,000, or you can pay him $10,000 per cut that you use of his. Shannon Sharp and a lot of other people just will take you and you won't be able to be monetized for it. But this is what happened with Shannon Sharp. He has a million subscribers. Hopefully one day I'll be big enough to be able to have 1 million subs and we'll make a bunch of money on it. But let's listen to what YouTube gave him for his 1 million subs. Hopefully he won't ban me for this. Yeah.
Got something for YouTube. Let's see what it is. Oh my. Ooh. Presented to Club Shay Shay for passing 1 million subscribers. Thank you, guys. I definitely could not have done this without you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and everybody here at Club Shay Shay. Thank you, guys. Oh my goodness.
That's what I want. Get some stuff I can hang it up. But oh man. Also, can somebody give me some? I wanted to make this guys who I told I was gonna give you a membership. I'm still gonna give you one. It's fucking hard to give membership. I had to become a member of my own channel to be able to but I still can't give members. I can't give memberships from my phone. So like I have to be on the laptop. So like just forgive me. Or if one of y'all wants to, damn, I don't even remember their names now. But I think you have to be on the live at the time if you gift a membership. What I may end up doing is just telling one of y'all that I know is good to just go do the fucking gift membership and I'll cash app you some bread. Because I've been trying. Like do you know how backwards like YouTube takes like they only give you it's like a 70-30 split. So I joined my membership and I'm only gonna get 70% of that back. YouTube's gonna eat the 30. So like, but you know, whatever. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying.
You gotta find there's other sites you can use where if you can get the chat to focus their donations there, you get more of a split. YouTube is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But James, you forgot his hoodie for the second time, Chris.
So I don't want to badmouth Garner and Gold, but this is not Mike Norvell's gray hoodie. This is a nice hoodie. I had to pay for this hoodie a lot more than I paid for the Mike Norvell gray hoodie, which I like more. But this is just a good fun, and they had it was a 3X and a medium was all they had at the store. So like that's this one isn't that good. What up, Show Enough? Appreciate you coming to the channel. Said you're new to it. Make sure you guys like it because if we get to over 50 likes, we will probably ask somebody to gift a membership to some random person, but we'll figure it out. Like I said, we're gonna figure out how to give these memberships. But it should be easy as me just going in the fucking back office and pushing. I want to make this person a member. It's my goddamn channel. But whatever. I don't know. But going on and on. But congratulations to Uncle Shay Shay. One day I hope to be at a 1 million subscribers. It's just a cool goal to have. Probably a really good check too from YouTube. Speaking of which, the Pat McAfee show is like turned down $120 million deal from I believe DraftKings for him to be able to join ESPN and have his own show on ESPN. So shout out to him. But do you know what ESPN's giving him? Which doesn't happen. Like when I do my stuff, everybody who does a channel, you will own your secondary rights. Pat McAfee basically owns the secondary rights. He doesn't have to give up his YouTube show. Oh, so like while working for the mouse, yeah. So like Mark, you fucking sue those people because they fucked my dog Mark out of some bread, man. Like they told Mark he had to make a choice. That's fucked up, man. But anyways, Pat is if you have a lot of subs, like if you're going, like for example, each time I think somebody did like with rappers, when their videos go for over 1 million views, that's about $75,000. So, and no matter how many, like this just on average, but like if you have 1 million subs, and this, just think if you're going $1 million a show, 75K a show is a lot on secondary income. So like that's dope.
We got to get you in wrestling. That's how it really blew him up to the next level. Get you on WWE stage.
Oh yeah, that's the listen. WWE have Biggie. Well, Biggie's dead now, but have Biggie's AI quote you in the song. By the way, you go look at C Gutter. Like if you don't know who Gutter, I thought Gutter was a terrible person until I watched this Vlad TV interview, and Vlad C Gutter was like, "Man, I ain't do all that shit that Biggie was rapping about." He's like, "I ain't talked to him for 2 weeks after he dropped that bar." All right, but if you don't know who C Gutter is, then that means you're not of the culture. And I think that's the biggest problem. One of the things that my son's godfather, one of them, hit me up and he asked me, are they really changing in textbooks that slavery, like instead of saying slavery, say forced, and hold on, let me make sure I can read it, because this is in Texas books. It's coming to Florida. I don't really like it. That's why I'm going to teach my son history on my own. Oh, instead of saying slaves, forced servants, instead of saying Japanese internment camps, we're going to refer them to as a relocation program. I don't know if this is in Florida, but I do know this was Texas stuff. They're changing the dynamic of it. But I think if we don't understand our history, we're doomed to repeat it. Well, some of y'all are doomed to repeat it. I ain't going back. I've learned enough about that shit. That's why I don't go to Alabama and Mississippi now. But if we look at Jeopardy, some of these things, if you're of a certain age, need to be done. And what I did when I was in college, I took my white regular friends and we watched, and then some of my black friends, believe it or not, there are movies that you must watch. It's part of your culture. If you're Spanish, I'm sure there's like, you gotta, what's the girl, not Sabrina, the motherfucker who her mom killed her or something like that. It was one of them. J-Lo played her. I think it was J-Lo.
Gosh, I got it.
Famous Selena. Is it Selena? Selena. Like if you're Spanish, you ain't seen Selena, man. Something wrong with you. I don't care which of Spanish you are, but that's like a Spanish cultural thing. I'm sure there are other movies. But like this, like I had a friend had seen Boys in the Hood, had seen Minister Society. I'm like, man, we got to get you into these movies, man. You need to watch these. Dolomite, blaxploitation things. I'm going to take my sons and we're going to watch these movies. My favorite movie of all time is called The Mac. I think it should have won an Oscar, but it didn't. But push this Jeopardy with these people like that just clearly don't understand the culture and they're of age. I'm sure white people have these movies too. Like you have songs, we know that. Because I hear them at the lacrosse.
Rudy Ray Moore made his film debut as this character in 1975, along with his all-girl army of kung fu killers. Amy, who is Superfly? No.
Close?
Sam, Dolomite. Dolomite is his
Nah, my man, Sam, the way Sam answered it,
Rudy
I
Ray
know
Moore
Sam has
made his
seen
film
Dolomite
debut
a
as
couple
this-
times.
Yeah, he was.
But if you go down, it's one more where they just like, I think it's like a YouTube, like yeah, that one right there. Click on that. It's just some things that you know. Like
all the days
you
of my
be
life
around,
worked out,
like we the world was designed for a lot of you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think you should take great pride in that. But like, we have to learn your culture. Take some time to come get some seasoning, man. You conquered the whole globe for spices, and you refuse to get some of them spices sometimes. But Rudy Ray Moore, go watch Dolomite. It's going to be weird and uncomfortable for a little bit, but after a while, you're going to be good. It's kind of like if you watch it's like, for example, if you haven't watched the movie Airplane, you got to go watch the movie Airplane when the old white lady said she spoke jive and she went and talked to the two black dudes. That stuff is appreciated. Like we like that shit. But let's listen to some more of these things.
Born into slavery, she wrote under the name Iola, became a newspaper owner, and
This is
campaigned
actual
against
history
lynching.
right here. This is you're not learning.
Activist Ida B. Wells.
Adjective, then noun,
Right.
800.
You got to study for
Rap
sure.
music until about 1985. Let's put on some Treacherous 3 and kick it. We would kick it old school.
Immigration 12.
Among the few high-profile Beninese Americans is this Oscar nominee for In America and Blood Diamond.
not mad that you don't know his name. I just
His name is Jaimin Hunsu.
600.
think you called him Sinke. You
My
should-
Prerogative by this singer is noted as a prime example of R&B's New Jack Swing era.
No way.
That's Bobby Brown.
All right, see, like you should
Comedians for
know who.
2000.
That's enough. We should know who Bobby Brown is, man. Like, come on, man. Like, but Bobby was on that coke too. So like, Bobby was fun in the 80s.
I asked Chad what's their movie. Life, Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, The Wood.
The Wood, yeah, definitely. But see, The Wood is a newer one because Wood came out when I was a junior in high school. So like those are still good. Yeah, you don't want to drop that camera again. What is a good one? Like, you know what? In the chat, this is get the chat popping. Give me 5, each person if you can. If you can't give me 5, give me 1. What's 5 like? Chris, it doesn't count because you didn't grow up white. What are 5 white movies that everybody should just know? Like you should have just seen them. Like the Old School is a good one, but I think that's like that's gonna be newer though.
Yeah,
I'll tell you where I come from, and then we're gonna get into this why Michael Offer is one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. I go to a lacrosse game, and I know what my kids listen to. If you saw what like some of the videos and some of the reels that I did while we were in Naples, they're coming out to Meek Mill. They're playing Boosie. They're playing a bunch of other stuff. But they're warming up to like soft rock anthems. Like none of these kids were even thought about. Like, and so I asked, I'm like, is this like my mom woke up listening, but I was alive when Anita Baker comes in. But like, is this like, Suavemente? Like a lot of the Trey wasn't alive when that song first came out, and or Viva, whatever. Most of Enrique Iglesias is good shit, or like some of these other cats, they weren't alive, but these are things that Spanish people sing. I need to know the 5. If you're white, I need to know your 5 movies that will help me understand whiteness.
The Outsider.
See, I wouldn't know what the fuck that is. That's a great. I appreciate you. Breakfast Club. Okay, Breakfast Club. Like I've seen Breakfast Club. I've seen Ferris Bueller. Was it Bueller's Day Off? Just give me some of those. If you're Spanish in here, give me 5 Spanish movies that I gotta watch. This will help me because I need stuff to watch. Netflix is here and all this other stuff. I can bootleg movies still. We can do a whole bunch of stuff. If you're black, give the timeline 5 black movies that they just gotta see. You gotta know these. Would Goonies be considered a white movie? Is that like a cross, like across the or Warriors? That would be like because Warriors had a black kid in it, if I remember correctly. So like, but not Romeo and Juliet. Is West Side Story? Is that one? Because I've seen it, but I'm just like I don't. It's like if West Side Story is literally Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Except for, but then again, one of them was a Spanish gang, if I remember correctly. So I don't know, but just curious for those things. But just in case I get on Jeopardy, I want to be able to know. I like being well versed on a lot of topics. Speaking of a guy who's what's the Top Gun? Yeah, Top Gun is definitely one of those. Top Gun, the soundtrack of Top Gun is one of the all-time whitest soundtracks that you can get. All Rocky movie soundtracks are in white lore.
I got a list. 60 Candles, Revenge of the Nerds, Adventures in Babysitting, Can't Buy Me Love, Porky.
Jesus Christ! But she went to a white school. I only know that because I went to the same school, but I just didn't get a chance to be immersed. I wasn't there long enough. They didn't embrace me until I got really good at football. Like that was a cultural shock for me to go. Like Chris, I'm shocked that y'all have. They have these spaces where they have all these old seminars. This is when the people get too fucking familiar with you. They've had all these spaces where every other Noel has come up there. They've talked about the life, talked about becoming a Seminole. You know who's never done the spaces? Nobody's done one for me. I have never got on and told my story. I guess they figured, well, he's probably done it on his own medium, but like nobody's ever just sat there and just interviewed me. Like, what was it like going from getting kicked out of a middle school and going to the blackest middle schools, where basically the cool thing about my middle school is 50% of us are doing very well. The other, well, no, I'll say 25% of us are doing well, 25% of us are doing okay, 25% are doing less than okay, and 25% of us are some of the worst people in society. They're in jail, or it was a good mix of stuff. And then I went from the blackest of black middle schools, where basically you had to know how to fight, you had to know how to be logical and all these things, to go into a school that directly represented the state of Florida's population. And what was crazy was the Spanish people, you would not be able to tell who the Spanish people were. Actually, there's 3 types of Spanish people at that school. There's the white Hispanics, there's Hispanic Hispanics, and then there's black Hispanics. And the black Hispanics, you couldn't tell if they were black or not. The white Hispanics, you wouldn't be able to tell if they were white or Spanish. There was a couple people who just refused to lose their accent. And I actually saw one of them, Ruben. He's a nurse's assistant at the hospital my mom was at. And he's from Panama. I remember when I met him in school. But anyways, going to what I was talking about, white dude that I really love, glad he's in the family, Michael Alford. Michael Alford came in this motherfucker. He's still in year 1 of being the athletic director. The minute we got good, he said, ACC, fuck y'all. We about to come. We don't want to be in this shit. We the man. And everything that Mike Alford does is saucy, but not appropriation saucy. It's like cool ass pilgrim, like old money pilgrim saucy.
Hey.
Like, let's listen to what my dog say we finna do in Orlando. I mean, I'm talking about I got to get him a cap shirt because he's a cold ass pilgrim.
Announcement today: Florida State LSU kickoff game, prime time on ABC, and this just seems like it's routine now for Florida State having that prime time kickoff game.
Yeah, it's going to be great in Orlando. Both teams finished there last year, and then going back, and I can tell you our fan base in Orlando and Tampa and everywhere else. I mean, we've already sold tickets, gone overnight again. We took over New Orleans last year, and I'm expecting the exact same in Orlando. We're going to paint that town garden gold.
The only thing that could have made that better was
excited about
Khaled's
that
song.
It's going to be a great
We taking over. It just because he's not lying. It's all factual bars.
I can't wait to
coming in there.
It's gonna be awesome.
When I did my tickets, I got my tickets again. If you're not, I'm telling you, this is the hookup. You want to know how to get? You can't get tickets to Orlando? Not a problem. Become a fucking member. We're gonna do a giveaway, and you ain't even got to worry about that shit. Subscribe. Like, if we get to over 3,000 subscribers, we'll throw a giveaway to Gem Pop too. But members will get an opportunity to get tickets. I probably will have 8 to 12 tickets that I will be in possession with from Florida State. Right now, I know I got 4 from being a booster. I'm a booster. Even as a former player, I'm a booster. If you're not a booster of your respective school, then I need you to do something. Shut the fuck up. See, when you're a booster, you can complain. When you're not a booster, I don't want to hear shit, because you could be a booster for $70. But anyway, so I got my stuff. My home, when they first told me, it's like, how many tickets can you get? I'm like, how many tickets can you get me? Yeah, I can't even.
He was saying how it was. He's from Baton Rouge. He was in the Superdome. That's what he was in that thing deep.
Bruh. The tailgate again. So if you're not, I'm telling you, I don't know what the people told you, but the video shows something different. It could have been bad in New Orleans, but our tailgate was amazing. Like, if you had been there 30 minutes before it actually started, it was people that came in Orlando. We're trying to get 1,000 people on Church Street. If you don't have tickets to the game, get tickets to the tailgate. Trust me. We'll have TVs at the tailgate. The TV experience is just as good. Me and Chris, I'm going to probably walk in that stadium for like the first half. I'm going to watch the second half on the streets. But you're going to love it. All kinds of shit. But like, my man was right. He that we took it over. But Michael Alford basically is coming in leading a coup. And if you don't know what a coup is, COUP, that's basically when you kind of do a turnover, a takeover. And we tired of the ACC treating us like second-class citizens and not getting us paid and getting us these things. So now what first reported was 7, now Louisville's joined the conversation. Now it's 8 ACC teams that are talking about just completely leaving the conference. Now, what that does to the ACC is, if they leave, there's no ACC. Like there's only so many teams in the conference. You got to have that. So that's a super majority that comes into it. And what's probably happened is all these teams have had off the record conversations with other conferences about what would happen if they left. And obviously Florida State's been rumored heavily to the Big Ten or to the SEC. And what's crazy is that people like me, people like Sporadics have been saying this for over a year, that the Florida State is not going to be in the ACC for long. And everybody was like, nah, y'all crazy, you're not going to do this, not going to do that. Now you know what everybody's saying? Florida State ain't gonna be in the ACC for long. So like now that I tell them, now that the reputables are saying it, is it cool for everybody else to kind of admit common sense at this point? I don't know. I think you should. But kudos to Mike Alford being the man that he is and making shit happen. Love it. Just dropping his nuts on everybody. But ACC not the ACC, but with the season approaching, you got the numbers for if you want to bet. I think during the fall, I know I did say I want to do a podcast, relationship podcast critiquing show, but I also want to do some betting shows, and we're going to have our fantasy football league, and we'll have a bunch of other different things. But the national championship odds, obviously plus 20. I'm guessing, what does this mean? So if I put $1 on Georgia, do I win $220 or do I win 22? What happens when I bet money on this? I don't know what the plus means. Yeah, somebody in the chat help me out. What is the plus 220 mean? But Florida State's at plus 1,800, below Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, and LSU, who we beat before. But ahead of Clemson, who's plus 2,000, who beat us last year. I want to lay the money on. Well, I want to lay, if it's $1 and you get 220, I'm definitely gonna lay some money on Georgia because that's what I believe is gonna win. But I ain't opposed to laying a little bit of bread on Florida State. Okay, so really? Oh shit, hell yeah. So I could put $100 on Georgia and win $220. I'm gonna make that bet. What I'm gonna do is like what Denny did for the Jazz game. I'm gonna make my reach bet for my generational wealth bet, and then I'm gonna make the bet to give me my money back for what I lose on my generational wealth bet. So I'm gonna bet the 1,800 on Florida State. But I'm damn sure gonna put some money on Georgia, so that if that championship game happens, I can't lose. Which I love making bets like that. The ones the ones I know I can't lose. But I definitely would not be springing up to say if Florida State plays Georgia in a national championship that, oh man, I know I'm gonna win that one. I'm gonna go sit my ass down somewhere and say, man, I just hope it's a good football game, because I just hope they don't do to us what they did to TCU. Also, I don't know if I put it in here or not, but NCAA is allowing FBS players. They're trying to negotiate a deal to where FBS players are going to be able to get their money. But we're taking over all sports. Female flag football is going to come in. They're talking about doing like you do the game and stuff, Miles. I forgot what it's called, but they're talking about doing e-games. Okay. E-games, they're giving, some schools are giving scholarships to people for e-gaming. Wrestling is in some schools. I think boxing might be in some. Lacrosse is in some. I think this is the MMA isn't there yet, but you come from wrestling. This is going to be the next sport. And what happens is what I believe happens. This is a cultural moment. I'm just making an observation. We can argue and disagree on a lot of different things. But when they started getting, thinking that my people had an extra bone in our foot, we started taking over track and field, got a little saucy. NBA, they started taking over that, started dunking on people. I think there's a weird fantasy between black men's nuts and somebody else's faces that makes people want to watch, because that's why when dunking happened is when NBA came a lot better. When Bear Bryant helped lead to desegregation after he got his ass whooped by USC, and he said, I need some of those colored boys on my football team. That's when we started taking over that. So what happens though is they start creating sports like water polo. They'll create NASCAR. They'll create lacrosse. They'll create other stuff. But then we slowly come in there and we start finding this. When I first saw this sport, I said, what in the Caucasian is this? It's a sport where people just slap each other. Like, you get a slap. It's actually, people think it's equal, but it's not. And you'll hear in the commentary why it's not equal. But I saw one video a few weeks ago, and the guy slapped the black guy. And it was the black. Some of these guys are touched. I'm with y'all. These motherfuckers is crazy. He slapped fire out of the dude, the black dude, and he's growling. He's like, oh, I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you. Takes his time, steps back up to it, and literally, I think he cheated. It looked like he gave that man a closed fist. But this right here, this man clearly didn't cheat. And it was encouraging. But let's watch the little brown skinned boy against a guy who's considered a champion. What trips me out about this, especially knowing that Dana White is a part of it and watching some stuff about MMA fighters when they're coming up, how little money you get paid.
Right.
I know for a fact that these guys aren't getting paid more than a D2 scholarship football player on a month. And they just going out here willingly giving themselves brain damage. Right, like just beating the new currency. Everybody's talking about cryptocurrency and they're worried about that's not the new currency. Clout is the new currency. The only thing that these guys they're going out here slapping the fuck out of each other for internet fame. But I did say it. I said, man, we gonna figure this shit out. And we're gonna start slapping the fuck out of people. And it might work because I do know a guy who's in bare knuckle boxing. I took a picture with him. I actually just put him on my IG as like when I met you can smell a bad motherfucker when you come in. Bad motherfuckers know who other bad motherfuckers is at. This is a bad motherfucker. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's in Jacksonville. He just opened up a gym. I actually thinking about driving to the west side to go to his gym to train from you can train boxing, not just bare knuckle. But like he got something similar happened to him. He got caught and got knocked down by this guy. And then that guy, he took his 10-second. That guy came up too aggressive and he caught him. And that dude was blowing bubbles. Like he was knocked out. That is just that terrifies me. I don't want to be knocked out where I'm blowing bubbles and shit. Don't know what can happen. But that's it. You can't have any sport. These next two are gonna be real quick. I'm not gonna hold you. I never seen Martha Stewart like this, but ever since Martha Stewart went to jail, that orange is the new black shit. Listen, man, this 81-year-old woman can get it. I didn't know she was looking like. We didn't know Martha was hiding baked goods like this up under her, man. Like I don't know if she could be the first, but like I ain't gonna lie to you, but like if I had some other experiences, I mean. I'm sorry, like you call me weird, but these are good pictures of Martha right here, man. Martha don't look like my 80-some-year-old grandma. Like my grandma ain't looking like that right now. My grandma was like in a home right now. Like this woman out here flourishing, smoking weed with Snoop Dogg and living her best life. So the next thing you go to the next one, but this is my biggest fear. And one thing I've learned is this is why I don't bash any race. I don't believe any race owns the monopoly on ain't shit. So when I hear black women say black men ain't shit, that's why they date white men. I'm like, y'all have never talked to any white women. When I hear black men say white women ain't shit, I'm like, you've never seen what happens in these fucking divorces. So I'm learning I just learned that we all ain't shit. And you got to find the person who's ain't shit that you can deal with the most. And it just flourish because it's great. Relationships are great. But it is stressful when you're trying to be at the top of your game. And I like this guy now. He's African, but I know a lot of African men love what seems exotic. And I mean, he's African, and he's probably grew up in the U.S., but obviously with the fucking name like what he has, he wasn't of slave birth. I can tell you that. But he's with a colonizer, and she did what every other woman wants to do to a successful man who's married. She wants his chips. And her reasoning is weird because I always ask sometimes if women hear themselves when they talk. UFC middleweight champion Israel, whatever, Adesanya, ex-girlfriend, takes him to court for half of his wealth because they dated too long and she supported his career.
I'm a fan. I also supported his career. For a long time.
See, this is if you weren't in the ring picking on that little kid, then you weren't supporting him the right way. Certain women, I believe, support DMX's ex-girl, unfortunately, like his long-term DMX, because there's a way, put it like this. I'll tell you, I don't necessarily believe people should get married. I think until they change it. Marriage, the contract is antiquated. You don't need it to do anything. I'm going to break it where I'm at. You used to have to be able to transfer wealth and property. I can buy a house with another woman and not have to be married to them. And we have a contract that just can't be easily broken either. You don't need men to get a bank account anymore, women. You could go get a bank account on your own. The gays have helped us. I could call you my life partner and you could be on my health insurance. So like a lot of y'all who are bashing, like, man, they are literally helping us. I don't even know why gays want to get married so bad. The tax benefits aren't that great. I can promise you. And if you do want to leave, you just have to like do some, like if you want somebody's last name, do you know you can go to Social Security office and go pay to get, because you got to do that anyway. Everything that you want to do, you don't have to be married to do anymore. And if you've been with somebody for long enough and they haven't put you in their will, I got news for you. You were never fucking getting married. Like after 2 years, if you don't feel comfortable enough with somebody to have, even if you're not getting married, but to like make sure you have other things in place, you wildin'. So that's just my little relationship advice to him. If she wins, oh my god, it's gonna be crazy. MJ stands are going to be miserable for the next 2 decades. I just realized, Michael Jordan hasn't played in hasn't been relevant, like playing wise, in almost 30 years. He played, not 30, yeah, almost like 99. That was the 2000 was the last Bulls championship. And we're in 2023, so 23 years. It's been a long time. But now LeBron James is getting to that point where people are starting to talk about him in the manner in which they talk about MJ. And one of the things, the arguments was, they don't ever talk about LeBron like that. They'll find some no-name player or some role player and use him to be like that, like Mario Chalmers. We know, Mario Chalmers, the Stephen A. Smith stuff. Well, nobody respect him. I want you to listen to these two guys who were the star players on their teams when they met LeBron and listen to how they talk about him. They're going to start talking about him like MJ, and you MJ stands are going to be terrified and mad because they're going to forget it. Eventually, people will forget about him.
I played against the Miami Bron. You had your moments when you were in Toronto against the Cleveland Bron. How did he evolve to you?
The way he read the game, dictate the game, control the game, and then necessarily never have to be with scoring. The Miami Bron, that motherfucker was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Same as Cleveland. But at any given moment, he could turn it on and get you 45,
right?
Get a win. I think this Bron is being more of the IQ for everybody.
There was moments where he would call shit out when we playing him. He'll just blow up the whole play like,
Paul George.
No, it's going over there. It's going over there.
Wait, so LeBron be knowing all the plays?
He knows his plays down to a T, and he knows your plays down to a T.
He definitely knows to a T because he also knows people's tendencies too. You know what I mean?
He know very well.
Once you understand and know guys' tendencies, it's easier to cut off certain options and box offense in.
Do you have a play that really stuck out to you when playing him?
We was down 3-0. Obviously, we lost game 4, but I just remember, because I was out the game, I just remember him shooting that one leg floater and then going in. I was just like, this is it here. That was like the end of my time in Toronto. That one haunted me for sure.
I think he put me away too, man. That was my last time in Indy. He got me up out of there too.
Yeah, we was out of there.
They swept
really
us.
good. Talking about, and in the same podcast, they talk about everybody LeBron James's hate is so strong that it transfers down. It's generational hate. They hate his son for no other reason than who his dad is. And they go on to say Bronny better than about 100 to 150 people in the league now. And it's just sometimes what I want us to all do, and this is all due respect to Jordan, because we need to really cherish what Jordan did. But take a step back and just enjoy fucking greatness while we have it. We are in an era where we got some guys that could just go. We will never, we will be lucky to be able to see this again. In my lifetime, I have seen MJ. I can't pretend to remember the bad boys with Zeke in them, but I was alive for Zeke. I was alive for Magic. I was alive for MJ. And then after MJ, we had AI, but it was a while before we got into anything. And then when LeBron came, LeBron is the first guy to live up to all the hype. Not only did he do that, we had Kobe during that time. I've had Shaq. We've had guys who we've allowed to just be appreciated. But LeBron is the first person that has been a true global icon. He's never been in trouble. And you know what the old heads do? They fucking still hate on him. I want you to, that's the theme of the show. That might be the name of the show. What the old heads do. You fucking hate on this guy. And I get it. He's got more than you. His wife, I don't think many of us have heard her voice, but we know how she looks and we know she's the bomb. And actually, she just made a statement about how she feels, like what her role is. And basically, women are now the women hate on that. Because you know, women got to have a voice. But the women are hating on the two of the most iconic basketball players that have played in this era right now. But it's weird because like they love on Gabrielle Union. I'll talk about her in a second. But LeBron James' wife, Savannah James, says she just wanted to focus on being a great mom and supporting her husband. When asked why she keeps a low profile while other NBA players' wives opt to go on reality TV, becoming influencers and building their own brand. I really believe she is sitting here and understanding that I'm going to build my husband's platform. And then when I get here, I'm going to start where a lot of these other women are at right now. And then I'm going to launch it because like reality TV, NBA households or whatever, the stuff that the Real Households of Atlanta, nobody really gives them like respects those women. You know what most of us do? We all respect Savannah James. But women are hating this. They're upset. They're like, of course you can do it. Your husband's a billionaire. Or then they'll go to men like, you can't be like that because you're not a billionaire like LeBron. I can't even see. I meant it, my bad. I forgot. Jordan versus Bird, one of the dopest video games that you can have. But just grateful to have all these cats. Remember, I always joke and say, Larry Bird really the GOAT. You know, MJ never beat Larry Bird in the playoffs, right? He swept his ass all the time. Zeke and them whooped the fuck out of Jordan until he got Scotty. I always say the biggest argument about, and it's not taking away from Jordan's greatness. Biggest argument is, what was Jordan without Scottie Pippen? What was Scottie Pippen? They'll say, well, Scottie, but we've never once in our life uttered that Scottie Pippen is the greatest basketball player in the world. Never once. But Scottie did at least take the Bulls to the playoffs. When Jordan went to another team, the Wizards, all we know him doing is scoring. Like nobody ever stopped and said, man, I am terrified of the Wizards in the playoffs. You couldn't because they never made it. But people hate her because of this and doing this, because this is what Proverbs 31, if you're into the Bible, that's basically God was prophesying Savannah James. And Gabrielle Union is the one that everybody loves now because this women liberation movement, being a whole harlot, doing all this different shit. All these women talking about rim jobs and eating ass and pegging people, because I think that's what her and Dwayne Wade into, whatever. That's their house. But she bragged about going 50-50 on the bills with her husband who's worth $170 million. Gabrielle Union goes 50-50 on the bills with Dwayne Wade because she's a fucking adult. only women in poverty. Or women who aren't in a relationship because they're single, independent women who don't need a man for shit are the only ones who argue about 50-50. Anything is better than 100. Like, to quote the great T.K. Kirkland, you're either going to pay some of the either I'm going to pay all the bills and cheat, or we're going to split some of the bills and I'll be faithful. I'm not doing both. Because what happens is you become a commodity. And what Kevin Samuels tried to tell a lot of y'all that y'all hated was what commodity goes up in value when it continues to be used and it ages out. Only women think that, oh, he's dope. I just retweeted what he said to the men. Like, he's equal. The women just don't. It's the difference between when men take accountability and women take accountability. Like, I can tell you, like, hey man, you fucking up. We just dealt with this. Oh God, and the no Kevin Samuels shit. If Scott comes in here and says, James, I need you to do whoop, 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 we're not performing at this level. I can either perform or get fired. Men kind of have an idea with that. You tell a woman sometimes, oh, I feel like you, bitch. Nobody gives a fuck about your feelings. It's either it's happening or it's not happening. And I think people care too much about it, but that's our culture. It doesn't, but the one thing I've learned too about, again, Andrew Tate, listening to other who's not from this way, but a lot of American men are liking him. But when you listen to other people, it's just our American mindset. Eddie, going back to Eddie Murphy with Raw, when he does his little skit talking about, I'm going to go get me an African bitch. And she's like, but then I can't have her around American women because then she's going to learn how to sue. Eddie, what have you done for me lately, Eddie? I want half. Like, what entitles you to half of what I own? If the only way, but again, it's two different perspectives, because I think people look at Savannah James and think because she's the housewife that she's giving 50-50 to the relationship because her job is to make sure the home is what it is. It's just, again, like a lot of people, but again, if you have a relationship where you get all the bills paid, God bless. I just don't I don't understand a lot of that shit, man. But I don't even know what that. Eddie Murphy's thing, man. I don't know. That's John just text me. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into this. So a lot of lighthearted stuff, but now into some real shit. I don't know how much time we have because I'm gonna have to condense this because I don't want to talk about this anymore. So I go a little over. I don't really want to go into this because I think everybody's gone into this entirely too much. So if you listen to this or you're a fan of me, I get back to the community. I'm from an impoverished area. We're gonna skip that. I'm from an impoverished area. Came up out of it. I've never espoused it. Yeah, we're gonna go on that. I've never espoused to be a role model. Maybe some of the things people can want to follow, but I do a lot of stuff, and I tell you the truth. Like, I give book bags away not because, I mean, yes, it's a good, kind-hearted stuff, but like I always tell people, I remember being the kid who got done with his work, didn't have resources, didn't have food. I started fucking up other people's kids. I don't want your kids to fuck up my kids. My kids are pretty good. So if I got to give you kids the tools so that y'all stay the fuck away from my kids, that is why I do this. I have learned from being in a neighborhood with goons and with bad people to find the good, what I need. Some of the best business.
Yeah. Am I doing this right? Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Am I doing this right? Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. My check. I have no idea when did that start coming in?
Sounded out, James, around when you were saying John Morant.
Okay. John Morant's 23 years old and he's fucking stupid. That's the think piece. That's it. That's really where it should end. I'm doing all of this stuff with some good streaming deals on the line. I'm not going to go to what the numbers are because, again, the numbers are too bizarre for me to even really fucking believe them. But they knew about all this shit coming in. Why is it? What? We'll see. What the craziest thing is, I've had people in some of these groups that are dropping these think pieces that will show Russian kids breaking down guns and shooting guns. They'll see a family holding rifles together, talking about our Second Amendment right. It's an 8-year-old holding a fucking AR that weighs more than them. And we'll say, that's it. That's what's different. We're buying our kids Jordans and they're buying their kids guns. But when our kids have guns, we jump down and say that the kids are wrong. And then people want to say it's based upon what happened, what got him suspended before. You don't know why he got suspended before, but I'll tell you why he got suspended before. There are clear rules. You know what I can't do with my guns? If I take my gun to go pick up my son from school and I get pulled over, I know I'm going to get arrested because it's illegal to possess a gun on school grounds. He knew that he didn't have, even though he said the gun wasn't his and they didn't get prosecuted, he had a gun while he was on a trip with the Memphis Grizzlies. What you can't do is possess a gun on business trips or on the property. That's why he got suspended that time. This time, he was in a fucking car with a 9, I believe. And I'm actually more grateful to be. I saw the maturity. The first gun was a suspension for a little fucking 380. Like, we're not getting suspended for 380s around here, man. We got to get real guns. This time, the gun looked a little bit bigger this time. He was listening to NBA Youngboy. Okay, I'll suspend you for listening to NBA Youngboy. I just happen to not like NBA Youngboy. But everybody's doing it. Uncle Shay Shay is talking about, oh, you're doing this. He's being a thug. Kwame Brown goes on this rant. And all these old heads are constantly bashing this young man who made a decision, and he gonna have to hear a man. If he loses his $100 million, what does it do for me? He's not my kid's role model. But in all of this stuff, and I got guys who really tote guns, who are my partners, who do this stuff. Like, for example, Charleston White, and we can play this. Known snitch, who I actually enjoy. I don't mind Charleston White. He serves a purpose. Charleston White has numerous videos with guns. And this is what he had to say.
Yeah. Jay Morant need to go to jail or they need to send him to the military. They need to send his ass right now over there and let him join that Russian and goddamn Ukrainian war. Put his motherfucking ass on the front line. Let's see if he really gangster. Send whatever that boy named, Jay Morant, send his wannabe thug gangster, crip ass to the Ukrainian war. Let him join the Ukrainian forces.
And this is what people are sharing. Like, this is what our OGs, the people who are supposed to be mature, who've lived life, had life experiences, who've all been 23, are saying to this young man. So me posing with a gun, even if it was 2 times, oh, send me to war.
It's just so ridiculous.
Kwame Brown, who I've seen cry, he's been in this group on Facebook called Sports to Die Reloaded, former #1 overall pick. I've seen him cry when people pick on him about wasting his talents and talk about how he didn't. But he goes on and calls him Moran and all these different things. Steven Jackson, a 50-year-old man who was just in Chicago, was it Chicago O Block with Lil Durk and them? You got nerve. He said something.
I don't have Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson said something. You are a 50-year-old man who checked in with a bunch of teenage boys so that you can go hang around on the block to prove you're gangster. But you're saying something about the 23-year-old boy or young man, not boy, 23-year-old young man who, Miles, I haven't said one felony he's committed yet.
Right. That's the part I keep.
But this is the thug, not Steven Jackson, who literally went to a strip club, pulled out a gun, and shot 5 shots in the air. That guy is talking about 23, and he did that older than 23. James Coleman, would be a hypocrite if I said that. Now, I could call it dumb because it is dumb. But it's par for the course for a 23-year-old with money. I'm not going to say his dad has failed him because I don't know. Because you know what? I know people who've done way worse than that with fathers in their lives. I have a phenomenal friend, good friend. We came from the same block. You don't ever hear, I'm not a thug. I'm not a gangster. I've never done any of this shit. He's the only person on our block who actually had his mom and dad together. And you know what? He served multiple prison stints, not me. And his dad is a great dad because his dad was also a father to me. But is he a failure as a father because of what his son did as a grown-ass fucking man from a decision that he made? What you want him to do? Take off his belt and spank him on the fucking court?
We know Gilbert Arenas.
It's like, I keep asking people, tell me the crime. I want to be mad like y'all. Tell me the crime he committed and tell me what violation he did, because I haven't heard any of them.
I know exactly why. It's not moral. It's the 200 million that everybody is mad.
Which I keep asking people, so is that what, because when I talked about Charleston White, first thing everybody said, well, Charleston White's not worth $200 million. So I said, so the money is what makes it the issue. Don't put that on him. That's on you. You've never seen that kind of money. He's seen that kind of money and still decided that he wants to move in the manner in which he moves. You can't tell somebody when they've made enough money. People do it every day. Sometimes people, the only thing I want my son to be like with Ja Morant is this. He dribbles a basketball very well and he dunks on people. Son, that's what he is to that's how he's your role model. I think the problem is this is why athletes believe they are who they are. They're better than you. And it's because you put them on a pedestal that you don't put yourselves on. It is not Ja Morant's job to be my son's role model. It's my fucking job to be my son's role model. It's your job to be your child's role model. And the problem is too many of y'all are spending too much time talking about other people's cheering and not dictating your own cheering. I know this. I will not be held responsible for what that motherfucker does in my house, outside of my house at 18 years old. We only talk about those who are truly gifted in this manner. Money does not mean maturity. Now, that's what I'm saying. Now, it don't stop him from getting these jokes. This is what Ja Morant looks like. If you've seen The Wire and you know who Weebay is, Weebay's son, but Weebay's, now to his defense, that boy's mama wanted him to be like his daddy. And he wasn't built like his daddy. But this is what Ja Morant does remind me of, because Ja Morant he's not a thug. He's not acting like a thug. Thugs don't act like that. Like, my man put, like, Michael Harry, I'm trying to remember where so I could read it. Is it this one? Yep. Only someone who's never been around real gangsters would describe a rich kid from the suburbs riding around, blasting rap music, flashing guns he'll never need, knowing he'll never have to face real consequences as acting gangster. John Moran is acting like a white kid. That's what he's acting like. Now, all of that being said, there's only one thing that John Moran is doing that I don't believe. I couldn't find the audio, but it was this guy. They find the most random. To be a rapper is just, I could say I'm a rapper now. I don't know who any of these rappers are. I don't know their songs, but whatever. But there's a rapper who's a Crip. And he's like, he around here throwing up these gang signs like come on, have a conversation with me. Now, I do think I think you need to have a better appreciation for secret organizations, because that's what I'm gonna call Crips and Bloods. They're no different than, like, I have a tremendous respect for Omega Psi Phi. You'll never see me toss up the hooks like they do their sign. You'll never, my friends are Kappa, you'll never see me throw up the Kappa sign. My mother's an AKA, well, I'm not a woman, but my mother's an AKA. I have tremendous respect for her crossing that line, making the dedication and doing the things that she did. I think too many people don't have that kind of respect for it. Now, just imagine, and they get mad, like they want to fight you if you throw up the hooks and you false claiming. And those are the educated gangsters. Imagine what the real Crips and stuff. So that's where I really be like, all right, man, you got to chill out unless you really about that life. But all the other shit, and I guess part of it happened on Mother's Day. I mean, like over the weekend. I'm like, is this what we really worried about on Mother's Day? Like, if this same thing happened, I could promise you, if this same thing happened Labor Day weekend, this would be a blip.
Yeah.
It's a slow news day. And this is what I'm more angry about are the old men who are consistently going to their platforms to bash. Because you know what you're doing? You're doing the same thing you're accusing him of doing, which is clout chasing. You're getting clicks off of talking to him. Because like Kwame Brown, you know what Kwame Brown could probably do with the access to the circles that he has? Talk to John Moran. Because you have a background in which can help him, because very few people know what it's like to be young and that rich.
Right.
And we all act like we haven't seen people leave the fucking suburbs and get in fucking trouble. I'm listening to Ricky Smiley, who I have tons of respect for. Everybody's like, I can't believe he's done that. Ricky Smiley got like 7 baby mamas. Like, and if I'm to believe that you're a Christian and all this, one of the famous things God forgives, and no sin is greater than the other sin, and blah blah blah. Except for this man ain't really did nothing but something that affects him.
Also, too, it just shows how out of touch us, and I bet I'm an old man, are with the kids. Like, if you have a TikTok, if you have any of these types of social medias, this is what they're doing. What John Moran did is kind of popular.
It's nobody got harmed. And then they're like, well, he fought a 17-year-old. I was 17 fighting grown ass men. 17, and they think he was 21 when he fought him. He's like, that ain't that far of a difference, dog. I went to college for perspective. I started college at 17. I got in a fight with a teammate during camp. Are you going to bash that 21-year-old who's a senior the same way you bashed John Moran when he did it? They talk about John Moran's homeboy flashed a gun with the laser, with the red beam on a Pacer at the Indiana Pacer bus.
Oh yeah.
Okay, why isn't he in jail? Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe it's an embellishment. You ever thought about that? All of these things that they're saying, you should get jail time for. But even then, it wasn't him. You want to tell him that he should get better friends? Get better friends. I'm cool with it. But like this shit, like what Michael Wilbon posted. Michael Wilbon, one, you are my mama's age. You shouldn't have a son that's young enough to even be worrying about wearing John Morant's and you being able to dictate what he can wear. But he's like, my son will never wear John Morant's shoes. Bullshit. If them motherfuckers hot, I'm gonna buy Trey a pair of myself. because again, we're wearing the shoes for a few functions. To walk, are they comfortable when we walk? To hoop, are they effective when we hoop? And 3, are they fly? If they match those 3 criteria, I'm buying them. Because you know what he never said? This is the same guy who said Sean Taylor deserved to die when he got, because of the thug image that he never really portrayed. He got right. It was a botched home invasion, and he got killed. If a white man would have said that, we would have been all the way down his throat. I'm not mad. I'm more upset with the way that the elders are coming on this young man and not like you're piling on. Now, granted, he's done made the issue and said that, you know, he's apologizing and all that other shit, which I don't think he's sorry for. But, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm disappointed. A lot of people who have supported me. This is a journey. I recognize there's more work to do. And that's actually all true. But I'm not finna go lose sleep over a 23-year-old doing something stupid that 23-year-olds do. I'm gonna tell you, and this is me consistently on God, as sporadics, as anybody who's affiliated with Florida State, anybody who's watched me. I call these young men, and when I don't think they're making wise decisions, I just talk to them and I make sure that, hey, you realize you're gonna make a mistake. And when that mistakes, you know, may have some consequences. That's all I can do. Outside of that, I gotta let them grow. That's how we grow. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't make some of the foolish decisions. And I can promise you, my mom can tell you, I may even bring her on here. She can tell you that there were some things that I've done that just make her be like, you are a dumbass. That doesn't make her a bad parent. And the fact that I'm hearing people, vilify a kid who has literally done nothing illegal. Not one thing fucking illegal that you can tell me. All you can tell me is from your moral compass that you don't like what he's doing. And I can respect that if you don't like what he's doing. But he hasn't done anything illegal. Now we're bashing a black father who got his son to this position as a fucking barber. Like, you know how hard, you know how many heads you got to cut to be able to afford AAUT? A barber who did something similar to what another black father that y'all bash in Ball, LeVar Ball. He built the basketball court in his home so where he can bring kids out of the hood to where they can hoop. But then again, I'm gonna tell you how I know I'm weird. Y'all love Michael Jordan. I love Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson made them put a dress code in because he wore jerseys and baggy pants. And baggy suits are better than jerseys, baggy jerseys. I've always said this: respectability politics is not going to get you where you think you need to be at. And that's all this is respectability politics. If you just shuck and jive, you just act better, it's going to be better. And honest to God's truth, he may get suspended. I think he may take it. But if he's suspended for a year, I know for a fact he's not going to take that line down. And there's not a fucking, unless there, again, I have yet to see Memphis say what rule he violated in his contract. Now, if they put like after the first gun thing that you got to chill out and calm the fuck down, and he didn't do that, then all right. But you know how easy it is to shut all this up? Just say he didn't calm the fuck down when we told him to. And that's why he's being suspended. Everything is speculation. You suspend that boy for this if you want to, and watch every fucking decent labor law attorney take your ass to fucking court. And he get his money. But lastly, I'll say this. I have a high yield savings account. If I put $1.5 million in that savings account, I believe it gets me, I can tell you right now instead of me guesstimating. Let me just tell you what it gets me. And I know he'll have better access because he has a lot of money. A lot more money than me right now. 0.46%. That savings account can net me $70,000 a year in interest alone. So let's say Ja has made let's just say it was 1.5 million times, let's just say times 6. Let's say he got $9 million in the bank, right? I want to put this in perspective for you broke people. He can get $414,000 a year. You know what that means? He's not squandering generational wealth. He can put his money somewhere and still make more money than all of us. I think sometimes y'all got to step back and just chill. And don't put your dreams and aspirations on other people. And again, I'm with you. If the agreement is he's 23 and dumb, I think we can all come to a good agreement that he's 23 and dumb. But that doesn't make him anything. And stop comparing him to other 23-year-olds. He's not LeBron. But you know what y'all do for LeBron too? You bash LeBron for shit. So what happens is you get soon what this younger generation starts to do, they drown you out and you sound like old curmudgeons. And that's the one thing that I don't ever want to sound like. Now, when I've had people say, what would you do if Trey happened to do it? I don't think that's my son is a little bit more logical than most. I don't think he'll do it. Killer might. And I'm gonna tell y'all that his daddy got pictures with flamethrowers. His daddy got pictures with guns. His dad has a switch, not to beat you over the butt type, but his dad has a lot of things, and so does his uncles. His uncle Scott has some mean heat, and a lot of other people. So I don't really know. I think I might be, but again, I've learned that I'm probably the worst example. I'm not a role model. I'm just a guy who does shit that I feel is appropriate. Some people rock with it sometimes, some people don't. But what I love is that everybody doesn't have to have my opinion. But I will say this: the funny thing, and we can end it. Damn, man, so many good things. Actually, play this. This is also funny too. Some of the again, I can't save you from the memes though, y'all, because some of this shit is funny. This does look. If you haven't seen, is it Get Shorty? I think this is the movie Get Shorty. Andre 3000 has a tremendous performance here with Cedric the Entertainer. So many gems in this scene alone, but this part right here basically is what the NBA is. Look, this is what Ja Morant is to NBA. Adam Silver. I was about to say David Stern, but we're a few away from that.
You don't even have to say nothing. I already know. I know. I can't help it, man. Don't give me no gun, man. You know what I'm gonna do.
Niggas always be like they built different. Yeah, built like a bitch.
No, G, that's facts. Niggas be too sassy. A whole bitch, not even a half.
Hey, yo, Robert Downey Jr. just confirmed that he finna return in New Avengers Secret War and do a cameo in Armor Wars.
Oh, shit. He ain't confirmed shit. You ain't even got the source.
That's right there, bro. Big ass.
Robert Downey ain't even coming back to the MCU. We just be lying, bro.
Intimacy ain't just about sex. Right? You gotta take her out on dates. You gotta.
What are you talking about? Where'd you come from?
Those ain't their pronouns.
Who is they? What? Oh, my bad, man. That's my fault. That's my fault.
You need to learn how to read people, understand them before you start.
Okay. All right. Shit.
It's crazy how girls think just because there's a little bit of hair on it that I ain't gonna eat it. Talking about, oh no, I didn't shave. Girl, move your hand.
Why are you so horny this early?
It ain't never too early to get my meat hard.
All right.
Ladies, would you go 50-50 with your man?
Oh my God, y'all ain't got shit else to talk about.
That new Drake out, that bit was sliding.
Oh, straight.
He could have kept that.
Yeah, that shit sucked. I ain't gonna lie.
Dick Carter.
I don't see how people could pay every month for Twitter Blue. Like, it's not even that serious to have a blue check on your head.
Wow, I would love me some pizza right now.
So you're saying you don't like pasta?
Right, like what are you talking about?
I didn't say anything about pasta. Y'all making a whole new sentence.
Ratio.
What does that mean?
I like pasta.
Okay.
Ratio.